he really is the voice that kind of runs the team. And you know, at the end of the day, they are going to do whatever Inspired thinks, right? They are going to be playing it out exactly how he wants and how he views the game right now. Is that it's not about bot lane. As much as a lot of people talk about how they think bot lane is the most important right now and they need to be playing through these scaling carries, he believes that you should not be spending your time there early game from what I have observed and what I have heard from him. And so that gives Dhokla the license to get counterpick, right? They're not going to be counterpicking for support. They're not going to be counterpicking for mid. Mostly they're going to be counterpicking for him. It's not that he never blinds, but his team has faith in him. And I think that is really cool to see Dhokla kind of get unlocked in this way. This time around, though, he is going to be blind. And there are some of these kind of standard answers up and available, like Galio, like Ornn.
Yeah, I guess we might just see Xyno going towards those, but it's one of those neutralizing picks that we tend to see, those sort of setups that you have into the Rumble. It's a matchup where you look to outscale later in the game, but not necessarily having that big advantage. I think a big part of it is having Nocturne plus Rumble is so devastating. I think picks like Jhin and Rumble sync so well with the Nocturne. So part of, I think, LYON denying those tools from being able to pair up. You know, the Orianna has been banned all series, so that was never going to be able to be paired with it.
Fortunately, the problem with denying Jhin from your opponents is that Jhin is then on your team.
Ah, yes.
And that is one of the major downsides.
There is one thing with Jhin, right? You can choose to build damage on Jhin, because we did see...
No, sorry, buddy. Best I can do is Ghostblade rush into a rapid fire.
Oh, man. You're into Ornn as well, so please, LDR needs to come out.
Yeah, maybe sixth.
No,
you know?
No, that's not what it is. No, please. You know, Diablo is a phenomenal AD carry, but his build yesterday did not inspire much faith.
Double slingshot action.
Oh, yeah, no, please.
When one slingshot is not enough, you must get a second. And it is going to be actually the Galio for LYON, as Ornn was taken as the answer. A lot of top laners do really like this matchup into Rumble. Ornn, of course, has so much wave clear, scales really, really well. And once you're on Kanik, you're kind of just chilling. Once you're on that one item, you are kind of just chilling in the matchup. I do like Galio as an answer to Akali as well as the Nocturne, but instead it's going to be Jayce, which is very interesting. I felt like Galio made so much sense because it's such a good answer to the Shroud and also great for counter engage. You know, you throw down the ulti as soon as Nocturne comes in and whatnot, but the problem is obviously you can't ult during Paranoia because you can't target your teammates if you're not there. But I still felt like it had a lot of value. I'm less familiar with the Jayce Akali matchup, so I can't profess to be an expert on this.
Yeah, I mean, it could, in theory, still be a Jayce jungle. It has been nerfed quite a lot.
It's true. That's true.
Could be flexed there, but it feels like a vulnerable pick. They obviously did buff his. You know, he does have a decent amount of resistances in his melee form. Does a good amount of damage. We'll see where they end up putting it though.
Yeah, but it is scary, right? Because you're now drafting a relatively squishy team, and you're against Nocturne, Akali, Ornn. So
yeah,
you know, whether it's Jayce jungle or Jayce mid, when they press R, what's your recourse, right? You know, Nocturne is flying in and he's unstoppable, and the Call of the Forge God is flying in as well, and that is terrifying. Of course, you know, the potential counter engage from Rumble is pretty good.
I think the Kai'Sa ban is a great one because that would really just add to the pain if you put it on top of this rest of the composition Loud has already. Loud think it could still be that Jayce jungle. They ban away the Galio that was being hovered. I think Rakan as well, syncing up with that dive would be such a major threat. So it feels like both compositions kind of having that theme already, right? The long range of the Jhin, Jayce, and Loud trying to close the distance. The bans are just trying to thin what is available to extenuate what's already picked up.
Yep, so Rakan going to be banned away, Kai'Sa going to be banned away. A lot of these really strong dive champs that can help to set them up. It's going to be interesting if there's going to be, you know, Nautilus or Rel ban, but instead it's going to be Karma. So I do think LYON needs some sort of hard engage, and generally I feel like Rumble without, you know, point and click lockdown without that engage is a lot weaker. It's very hard to get good equalizers.
Yeah. If you go to Maokai, you know, it's a flex, but Maokai, if you have it in the jungle with Jayce mid, it's like the AP jungle with the AD mid, the traps you can set with the saplings, but also the setup for Shock Blast, for Jhin, for Equalizer, super powerful.
And good AoE CC, so, you know, it can reveal the Akali and the Shroud very easily with your Q, with your ult hitting them, you know, with sapling damage. It is going to be an MF, so it does feel like you're looking then towards, you know, a Rel, Leona, Nautilus, something like this. It is going to be the Leona as the answer. So it's really kind of just all dive, MF ult over the top. You're trying to find that. And the question here is, what support can really help to shut that down?
If it's a jungle Maokai, I wonder like a Poppy support could honestly be pretty good. You know, decent dash interruption, decent into the Leona, and then the ult could get insane value if you manage to ultimate the right target. But they could still flex the Maokai. But they are going to go for that Poppy. So I think the value, just the dash interruption, and the fact you stop the Zenith Blade from the Leona can mitigate it early on. And then if you ult a target out from that late engage, so much power.
I always really like Poppy when you have other CC on your team too. Poppy support is something that I like to play. And when you're paired with a Maokai, the Nature's Wrath comes out, hits Akali in the Shroud. You can just get a free ult on this person who's rooted and revealed, even if they are invis, you know? So there is potentially a lot of power there. You know, you can also stop a redirection of Call the Forge God with a well-timed W. There's Akali dashes, there's the Zenith Blade. There's a lot of tools there to be able to interrupt and shut things down. So some pretty interesting compositions coming out here across the board. I do think mid lane's going to be very important. Akali from behind, pretty pitiful. Akali from ahead can be incredibly oppressive. And Jayce mid, not a lot of players are playing this these days. There's basically no AD mids in the meta. Yone is the only AD mid in the top, I want to say 23, 25 picks in pro play and mid these days. So Jayce, we're just not really seeing him or any other ADs.
Yeah, it should be a top lane though for Akali, being that you are playing into something that not only has that range but can kind of just bully you out with a short combo. But if you get to 6, you get that huge power spike of the ultimate, which Jayce can't really match. And if you're playing into Akali Nocturne and they hit you with the ultimates, it's going to be a bad time.
It absolutely is. And that's where it becomes the job of Inspired and the rest of the team to scout out the Nocturne before he ults, right? When you're playing against Nocturne, deep vision is so important. If you spot on one side, you got to get wards on camps on the other side of the map. You need to know he's there before he presses Paranoia, or it's already too late. And Saint here does have that shock blast level, both mid and jungle.
You know, it's interesting, we have the comment from Dhokla. Keen has been going a lot of first strike, cashback on Rumble, and he would just print money against tanks with that strategy. And the grass coming out from Saint as well. You know, I'd expect maybe, like we see a lot of first strike when we had Jayce back in the mid lane, but wanting to go for the graph, so you have that little bit of extra trading power and bulkiness with some of the health and the resolve tree that you can stack up.
Yep. And it is always nice, you can go for that little trick where you go for the auto in range form, you swap to melee form, and you get the bonus HP as though you are a melee. So people love that little interaction. LYON, you know, positioning very aggressively forward here in that bot side, trying to get the push, and Saint needs to try to push the pace as much as he can in this type of matchup. You really, as the ranged champion into Akali, you want to bully this guy. You want him in the dirt if you can get him there before he gets 6, because as you said, the spike for Akali is huge, and the spike for Jayce is basically non-existent at 6.
Yeah, 6 is big, 9 is big when you get 5 points in your Q and the cooldown.
All right, first you're going with the 420, now you're going with the 69, buddy.
Wow.
You're out of control.
At least I haven't done 6-7 yet, so...
Well, now you just did that too.
Well, yeah.
Just going with all the numbers memes.
We'll get them all out of the way, right?
Yeah, we'll get them all out of the way. They're gone now. But Loud, this was their playoff run here. Again, you know, going into that upper bracket finals into the round 4 was when they made their swap to Envy from Mago. Had a lot of success. And this is a team that they are down, but they're never out, because they are known in Brazil as the comeback kings. This is a team that has been able to, you know, come back in games. They play this slow style, come back in series. They're known as very calm, very collected. And that is what they're going to have to do here. They're going to have to stay locked in, because the pressure really does ramp up. You're playing at home, you have the advantage of that home crowd, but you also have the pressure and the expectations of them performing in front of them.
Yeah, 100%. And I think with how the America's Cup went, there's that added, you know, the other teams had such a strong performance against the LCS representatives. You want to live up to that. You want to live up to that and see if you can replicate it. Right now, kind of the matchup going how you'd expect in the mid lane. Envy does have TP available when he wants to use it. It is just weather the storm and kind of make use of Thorn Shield, Second Wind, and just soak up damage and try and get farm. But it's just never really a fun time.
No, it's looking pretty rough for him. And you know, while you do expect to get down, it is looking maybe a little bit worse than I would have personally expected. Xyno doing well in that 1v1 up on the top side for now. But you always have to be careful about the mana. And Envy does have to be very careful. Saint went to the skies there looking for him, because of course that damage connects. It is AoE even if you're in the Shroud, and we'll be able to get this pushed in The execute there from the support item from Isles is just going to make that much faster. So he will lose at least the one melee, but of course it is a cannon wave, and he's going to get back in time for that.
Yeah, we'll be able to pick up that plate as well. Was shared with Isles there, but getting that quick push in, and already got a bit of an advantage in the mid lane. Do you see that Inspired was hovering around the top lane, but didn't really find a window for anything. I think don't expect him to be too active early, just from how he generally plays, but setting a quick pace of the game. And once you have that ult available, so often I feel like with Maokai jungle, even though we don't tend to see him lean towards bot, bot is such an easy lane to gank, just with how the ult covers so much of the lane. And, you know, there's no cleanse on Bull. I'm not saying I typically expect it, but without a cleanse available into a Maokai, it's so punishing. You get caught by that ultimate, it's kind of doomed.
Definitely can be tough. You can see the steadfast presence there, interrupting the Zenith Blade from RedBert as he tried to go forward. Red Bull looks for the double tap, can't quite find it, but Saint now potentially going to get attacked here by YoungJae. Will push him back, but he has the acceleration gate and nails the shock fast, and then just sidesteps the Q there from YoungJae. So kind of dancing on him right now, feeling confident that they don't have the damage or the CC to knock him down. Inspired also is going AP. I'm not sure what your feeling is on that, but Berserker going to be forced to cleanse here on the bot side.
I think I'm okay with, we've seen a lot of like, it's Liandry's and then the, what's the second item, this shred item called?
Bloodletter's Curse.
Bloodletter's Curse. I'm not sure how I feel about the Bloodletters. I think Liandry's.
Oh, Saint flashed forward there. The kick flip backwards, though, to safety for Envy, or at least relative safety. He has to get out of there because Empowered Shock Blast might be enough. Forces the flash. Envy trying to greed for this. Will be able to get back and take that cannon, but Saint definitely putting the pressure on, but unfortunately for him, hasn't been able to cash in on a solo kill, so it is just the CS advantage. This is not a cannon wave, though, that Envy's basing on, so if he completes the base, he's going to lose at least a couple of minions, and the base will get canceled.
Yeah, he's still so low in this situation. YoungJae, about a hit level. Actually, he's doing the dragon, so that might take him a bit longer. But Envy now has level 6, but just too low to really make anything from it.
Going to be starting this up. This is pretty risky from YoungJae. Bold to start that dragon when your mid has no TP and no pressure. But Isles is low, so they do have the HP advantage on the bot side. Inspired comes in, though, and that will be enough to push him back.
Yeah, I don't think you can go for that with the condition off your mid lane. So wise to back away in that situation, and Envy will go for the reset. I think regarding the first item, Leandry's, I think is completely fine. I feel like transitioning to tank after that could make more sense to me, because we've kind of just been seeing like the full AP builds. But you know, maybe like a Leandry's Bandle Pipes and then the Protoplasm Harness. Like you get that first AP item, then a bit tankier after that. I think in my mind for like a pro jungle, economy makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But we've just been seeing like the full AP saplings on nuclear bombs sort of build.
Yeah, I mean, the saplings are obviously very annoying to deal with, but at a certain point, the damage can kind of be shrugged off, right? It stops being threatening later on into the game. In my view, you just can't keep up the income to actually have enough AP to like truly threaten people.
It is great for stat padding, though. I'll tell you that.
That's true. The most useless damage.
Yeah.
But you can do a lot of it, and Envy now does have a slight experience advantage as Isle's going to find Bull. The Deadly Flourish will connect, but no real follow-up there to be had.
I feel like this, you know, it's also, there's been so many games like a top laner's playing into Rek'Sai, and you get to the end and it's like, oh, you've done 36,000 damage. Just such like kind of fake stat padding damage that just doesn't really mean much. But big number, I guess. That's nice to see.
The big numbers do always feel nice, and pretty much always you'll see the pro players checking the damage at the end, and always like, I did more than you. It's funny hearing some of the comms sometimes when games are ending. They're like, need to get the DPM up, need to get the DPM up. They don't want to end the game.
I've been there. I've been there.
Yeah. When you're on a real struggle game, you need to look a little bit better. You know, you need to get some damage in at the end.
Pump the numbers. And then you get the people who just like don't care, you know, flawless game, perfect KDA, dive the fountain at the end and ruin it.
I kind of respect it, man.
Yeah.
It's that they don't care at all. We got some lethality coming in through mid lane and bot. Of course, Xyno is laning against Rumble, so he has to pay respect to that. You know, we talked about the Canic Rush, almost always what you're going to see. Does mean that, you know, he's going to have less armor, or at least less armor early on, but you do still need some armor. 10 is the bullet time coming through. Berserker forced to flash. Isles going to eject RedBert back, but that is a nice engage. RedBert didn't even use his ult, and they get so many sums. 3 down there from the Lion bot lane.
Yeah, so much pressure easily allows YoungJae to pick up this dragon here. And triple sums burnt there from the bot lane and them getting chunked out. Not a great feeling. Xyno not having a great time in this lane so far. Not at a Koenig spike yet, but one thing with the fact that, again, it's a rarity to have an AD mid laner, but you can send Saint into Xyno after he has that Koenig Rukin completed.
Ooh. He's going to drop the equalizer here, try to keep him around, but not really going to be an angle for a dive as he gets the level up.
Yeah, not really able to take him down. But yeah, if you send the Jayce into the Rumble, that MR is kind of wasted. So potentially the avenue to do that once laner phase is kind of broken open.
Yep, YoungJae going to be going in. Paranoia is popped. Call of Forge God is going to whiff here, but the fear does land. Nature's Grasp coming through. Will be spell shielded by YoungJae. Didn't waste that early, so they get the flash off of Dhokla, as well as the ulti trade from Inspired, but they do not get the kill. Yeah,
so Inspired finishes off his grubs, comes over, saves his top laner. Still flash burn from Dhokla, still a resource, big resource expended, but the fact he doesn't go down to that first Nocturne ult definitely feels pretty good.
Yep, it is going to be feeling really good. So Saint has built up a 600 gold lead for himself here in the mid lane, which is pretty solid for sure, but Envy is scaling and is going to have that potential all-in threat. And it's a nice steadfast presence into the Deadly Flourish there from Azael and Berserker, but they're definitely on the back foot, it feels like, in this 2v2. And for the most part, they've been a real point of strength for Lion, so them kind of getting pushed in, them being on the back foot, is a bit of a first, it feels like, in this series.
I mean, you're talking about how Inspired kind of views bot as you just leave it to play safe, leave it isolated. If they start to stumble and fall, then that plan might go out of the window. With those summoners being down as well, you can see Isles very easy for him to disrupt the Leona engage. That steadfast presence is such a long cooldown. If we see RedBert get on top of Berserker, no cleanse available, you layer the CC, and it's probably just a dead Jhin.
Yep, I think one CC hits with bullet time up, and you are dead with no cleanse, because that CC chain just does not end with the Zenith Blade and the Solar Flare available. You can see Inspired moving his way down towards bot side. He is clearing out those Krugs right now, but kind of pulling them down towards bot lane to see if there is a potential angle. And he has finished his Leandries. We're expecting Dhokla, obviously, to move that way as well. And first item done for YoungJae as well.
It's crazy. You remember it was a thing that if you had 2 Leandries in a team, they couldn't both be in a target?
They couldn't stack, yep.
Yeah, how crazy is it that that just was a thing one time and you just couldn't have 2 people with it?
Exactly. I mean, if someone else picked a Leandry champ after you already had, you're like, brother, you just griefed us. Like, our comp is terrible. We can't build the item now. RedBert going to be spotted out here by Isles as they're going to look for an engage. Nice knockback there from Inspired. Will keep himself safe, and RedBert might not be so lucky. Going to get stunned into the wall. Out comes the Nature's Grass. He flashes back, but already is knocked down, and now Xyno might have to use his flash as well. He's going to have to dash back, flash back. Dhokla has the equalizer. They are lining up for it. Inspired's going to knock him back. Will he let the equalizer rip? Is just going to hold on to it. Doesn't even need it. Xyno's going to get chased down. It's a couple freebies for Lion as Loud wandered in and got chomped in half.
Saint already ahead in lane, now 1,500 gold up, and just cleaning up these easy kills. The team sets them up. We see here RedBert going a little bit aggressive, trying to find an angle, goes in, and then just can't get out again. Tries to back away, this stun into the wall. I think you have to flash it, but may have just been in a comfortable position regardless with the rest of the team moving forwards, but flashes late, dies, and then here, actually see a picture-in-picture play.
Yep, they're looking for Saint. They're going to try to knock him down. The Paranoia gets popped. He's going to go under the tower. Knocked back onto his own teammate, though. Isles tried to peel, but it failed to do so. Charged him back, denies the blast cone, though. In comes Inspire, and I think they're going to be able to find him. Well played by Isles with the ward, but I do think that knockback might have killed Saint.
Yeah, and especially because there was a shutdown as well. It's pretty gold positive for Loud there. Obviously, not ideal getting the gold on a YoungJae compared to someone like Envy, but not the best headbutt we've seen from a Poppy.
Leave that to the Alistar's, pal.
Yeah.
Press steadfast presence.
Yeah. I think it's hard, though, when you're playing into a Nocturne, because you're trying to wait out the shield. So this is how it started. RedBert got a big engage, laid the CC, just wasn't quite enough damage. Envy not connecting everything there, the ult 2, I don't think connected. And then here, yeah, unfortunately, Isles slamming him a little bit too close to the target. With the wards that Was that 3 wards down?
Oh yeah, they have vision in that area.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Full committal. I do hope someone on Loud pinged that and got the 15 gold reward, you
exactly.
know?
Who's the real winner in that scenario? Sure, you killed the Nocturne, but they got 15 gold for pinging.
Yeah. I wonder... There's some players who just rapid fire on that. Like, there'll be a top laner, a ward will get placed bot lane, they're watching it, boom. They'll ping it immediately.
Of course, there's nothing else to watch when you're playing top lane. You're not watching your matchup.
I think Xyno in this situation probably in that state of mind.
Oh, he's locked in. He's locked in.
He's sitting there like letting his Koenig Rook in, tank the damage, and he's just pinging wards of the man.
Exactly. That's how you really win the matchup. It's about pinging as many wards as you can. Get that gold up. And LYON are over in the Dragon area, but it does look like they pulled off it as Loud got pushed through mid, and that does force LYON to back off.
Yeah, Loud already have a Dragon in pocket, but are down a decent amount in terms of gold, and I feel like the fact Envy doesn't even have a completed item yet feels pretty unfortunate.
Looks like an Essence Reaver from Bull, which is pretty atypical. Usually MFs are just going to stack BF items, so
yeah.
You know, generally you just see Bloodthirster into IE, and there's such incredible AD scaling on the bullet time that generally people just want to stack swords. That's kind of the way that you do build it up. We do see YoungJae though starting this. LYON are looking like they want to contest. The TP is going to be coming in. The Dragon's getting low. It's going to be a smite fight, and it is won by Inspired. YoungJae ults out, trying to get to safety on the side. It's Saint in trouble. The Locket Shield comes through. The peels are there. The Equalizer is good, and YoungJae is slated to fall. Dhokla getting in onto Bull. Bull's going to be in trouble. Inspired is low, though. Envy picks up the kill. Berserker trying to join in, but they don't have any consistent damage. They cannot hurt the front line. Isles is trying to run for it. Won't be able to get over the wall. He's knocked down, too. LYON get the Dragon, but that's the only thing that averts total disaster, as it's a 3-for-1 fight for Loud.
Saint just ends up in such an uncomfortable position. Not sure how he found himself. Oh, Dhokla might have found RedBert.
Dhokla looking for RedBert, has no flash just yet. He is overheated, he is burned down. Lazy recall punished there. As yeah, it was doubly bad that Saint got caught in that position because it also gave YoungJae someone to ult out to.
Yeah, you can see he just walks up from bot, coming from the bot wave, jumped on by the Nocturne, and then the Akali's there to follow, gets hit by the Ornn, everything connects. You immediately lose your Jayce, and your Jhin is ulting from super far away. And so by the time Berserker closes in on the fight's already kind of lost. You've already lost 2 members. Isles is in an uncomfortable position. You don't really have the setup to follow up this fight.
But the Jhin has his Ghost Blade. Why didn't he just kill the horse?
There you go.
The look of despair on your face when I posed the question. He's going IE second though.
Yeah.
So that is nice. We can see the Coinbase gold grind here. Almost dead even between the 2 junglers, just slightly, ever so slightly ahead for Inspired, and he is going in towards that second AP item, so very likely going to be grabbing the Bloodletter's Curse here to shred for both himself as well as Dhokla.
Yeah, I mean, that is one thing to think about, is you have that setup for the other AP champion on your team.
Yep, it is pretty valuable. Abyssal can also be really nice kind of for the same reason. The amp on Abyssal is really nice if you have a lot of AP on your team. But they are going to be looking. Paranoia coming in here onto Saint, and there is the perfect execution. He's got no chance, has no flash. Playing these side lanes is going to get dangerous for Saint.
I think we're seeing some of the concerns that we had about the Jayce sort of show up. Anytime he decides to exist in a side lane, in a team fight, in the river, out of the river, basically anywhere outside of the fountain or like directly under a tower, he's having a tough time into this Akali Nocturne, and they're just kind of collecting freebies at this point.
They really are, and that's the problem. I mean, Jayce is great in the 1v1 in the lane, but the game doesn't end after the laning phase, and even with a big gold lead here, he has struggled to find relevance in the team fights. We'll see, though. Inspired, you know, it's going to be on him, it's going to be on Isles to try to get vision, to try to be spotting out where the Nocturne is, to give Saint that coverage, right? You can't allow them to just keep picking up free kills. And if you can spot that Nocturne and be in position for a counter gank, hey, maybe you can turn that around and really start to punish them. I
think YoungJae is not strong enough just to nuke him down quickly, but it's the fact that the Akali is always there to follow up. And that's someone who's much easier to cover and prevent. You're never going to be able to stop the Nocturne from reaching the Jayce, but you can have people there to peel, And the Akali is someone that you can track much easier. She can't just teleport. Well, she can't teleport, but she can't just appear across the map on top of the Jayce.
You can see Dhokla down to the spot side. YoungJae was lying in wait, but doesn't like what he found as the equalizer is going to get dropped. YoungJae does have the flash, but will he have to use it? Isles moving down, but so is RedBert. There's the overheat flash out, and Dhokla just given over an easy kill. Dhokla uses the flash. It's a trade of flashes, but that's just such a free kill given in. And now they're going to look for Xyno here. He's trying to clear out the wave, but the Rift Herald is there. Pops call the Forge God on the bot side. They're looking for a dive onto Isles, but he knocks away the Akali. Isles is going to be safe. Xyno is also looking like he's completely fine. The tower never got finished. Saint got put low, and Loud winning out on both sides.
Yeah, I'm not sure what if the Nocturne was just used to help provide cover for Xyno there and disrupt, but so hard to dive an Ornn in this situation. He's so tanky as well, doesn't have that much armor there, but the Jayce just not really able to cut through. And I think the tower aggro juggling was a little bit off as well. It was Saint who had the aggro most of the time.
Look at this deep TP. They're going to be able to stun him into the wall here. Isles looking for him. Drops the exhaust for the slow. Dhokla has the home guards coming out with this TP. Going to be able to finish him off. The kill will be gifted to Saint, so Dhokla gets nothing. But it is a nice play there from LYON.
Bullet time. Getting chunked out here by the bullet time. So now she'll be able to put some pressure on this tower. No one there really to respond from the side of LYON. And
be looking for Envy here. Goes into the Shroud, but trying to burn him down a little bit. Dhokla taking a number of tower shots, though, so ends up losing out on that trade. And I thought it was the IE second, but it is instead that Storm Racer there for Berserker. And Isles going to be looking for an engage here. The Nature's Grasp is popped. The Shock Blast does connect onto Bull, and the Equalizer is perfectly placed. He flashes, but it's too late. The Twisted Advance wraps him up and knocks him down. And now RedBert trying to run for it will be able to survive. But both the side lanes are being pushed here by Loud. It is going to be the Dragon, though, for LYON as the reward.
Yeah, we'll see if Loud try and move in this. Despite not having the AD carry, is a lot of resources expended by LYON. So many ults there burnt by them.
They're going to try to fight for sure.
They're going to go for it.
The TP is coming in. Paranoia is going to be popped. And we see that Saint is with the rest of the team, but they're just going to jump in onto Saint. And this time the Dragon is stolen there by YoungJae. RedBert flashes out, and LYON are crumbling. Berserker can do nothing. He does knock down one. Now RedBert is low. Envy is low as well. They're looking for him. The Ornn is just too damn tanky. Akali going to try to exit the back of the pit. Will be able to do so, and will TP out to safety. So LYON win the fight, but they lose the Dragon. Both junglers being able to steal one away this game. Berserker in trouble now as Bull comes in, but not confident to keep chasing forward. I think they could have gone for it.
Yeah, he was already so low. I guess he has summoners, right? And he had the backup behind him, didn't want to overstep too much. But this fight just ends up being a swoop in from the Nocturne to steal away the Dragon here. But the fight afterwards ends up super scrappy. We see, even though those two members go down initially, they're not able to get on top of Berserker. YoungJae goes down, he pops the ult. Envy has to back away immediately because he's low. RedBert's taken down, and then yes, Xyno's super tanky, but doesn't have the team to follow up from there. This game has been so scrappy, so back and forth, and it just kind of feels very chaotic right now. It feels like Loud focusing a lot of resources on killing the Jayce, and LYON just trying to find some structure in these fights. But I'm looking at the fact there's a 4-0-4 Akali. Super threat right now. 10 stacks on the Dark Seal as well, and with a ton of pen in the build already.
And you got to find some way for Saint to be relevant, because he's just getting killed off at the start of every fight, it feels like. And they have no one to hurt the Ornn. So yeah, Xyno is a problem. You know, Ornn does damage. It's not like this champion that you can just fully ignore and nothing happens. He is going to hurt in these fights if you're just ignoring him. And LYON are kind of in a position where they have to. And saw a big reaction from Dhokla on the player cams after that fight. Was kind of interesting, looked very frustrated. You know, they did win the fight, but they lost the Dragon, and maybe he feels like they're being outscaled. Paranoia going to be popped, and it is again and again. Picks in the side lane. The TP was quick from Isles to respond, but it just doesn't matter. They had been picking on Saint, and now it's Dhokla's turn.
This combo just so hard to deal with. Just make the side lanes almost impossible for LYON to play out. We'll be able to pick up this turret as well and push them into a gold lead. I mean, Saint has a good amount of gold. Despite how fed this Akali is, it's still not much of a gold lead between the mid laners, but it's just irrelevant if you're getting deleted immediately in all these fights. And I mean, the fact that you were behind in lane already as Envy, and now you're in a situation where you just have so many items in pocket. I'm worrying for LYON right now.
And Xyno is 15, so the ornaments are going to be coming through. You know, he's going to start getting in those upgrades for the team, something we haven't been talking about thus far. Of course, he's had his upgraded Koenig working for quite some time.
I wonder who gets the first ornament.
I think RedBert.
Yeah. I mean, the Protoplasm's a cool item. Why not?
It is. Kind of looks like a speaker to me.
I see that.
You know, like a boombox, you know, carry around on your shoulder.
Yeah, no, I see it.
Pretty good vibes for the team. You know, maybe upgrade it a little bit, get a better sound system for the squad.
You say that, but if you wanted vibes to the team, you would have gone Bandle Pipes. That's
true.
the vibes I am.
True. That is facts. You know, turn yourself into an enchanter. Something that everyone wants to be in this meta. As RedBert takes a little bit of damage from Berserker and co. They are going to be able to push him back for now. Saint out towards that side lane, trying to catch the waves again, but Envy is just unperturbed. He's just moving around in the jungle, trying to put pressure on. No one can really face check him, and Dhokla does have his second item, went for the Riftmaker because Inspired had that Bloodletter's Curse, but it's going to be quite some time before he has Azonias, which would help him, you know, to survive these potential dives. Saint is going to have no such luck. I mean, he's building a little bit of HP, you know, with the Black Cleaver coming out next, but I just don't know how they're going to be able to deal with this Akali Nocturne in the side lanes, and I don't know how they're going to be able to deal with the Ornn in the team fight.
This is a point in time where you really wish they had a nerf tank Jayce. You could just slam all those items. I think, though...
No one has ever said those words, by the way.
There's definitely some top laners who said that.
Disgusting.
Yeah. I think right now, Loud are just making the map feel so small. Despite the fact the gold's super even, playing into this Nocturne Akali just limits how far you can approach, how far you can step up, and particularly playing out the side lanes. We do have dragons spawning in 40 seconds, so expect both teams to be trying to set up around there. I think it's important for LYON to get there early and start getting those saplings set up, start getting control around the area. If they don't, I imagine they might just not contest it, because if you don't have a clear setup and you have vision of these threats like the Akali, I wouldn't bother.
And they haven't had the best soul luck. I mean, they obviously won last game with the Ocean Soul. But this time, I don't think the Ocean Soul is very helpful for them, but it is very helpful for Loud with this Leona, with this Ornn, who's already pretty much bulletproof. It's hard to imagine him dying ever in a team fight if they have Ocean Soul as well.
Also, against the Jayce, right, the poke, if you're playing something like an Akali and you get poked out, you can sustain back up with the Soul. We do see LYON trying to get position, but it's difficult, and Envy is looking to loop round here.
Nice knockback there from Inspired, and Leona ult is kind of wasted. So a couple resources thrown down, and now LYON feel that they can move in, take a little bit of space. Bull is playing on the side. YoungJae is just soloing this down, and Envy is on the flank. He is in the back of the pit, hasn't been spotted just yet. LYON do let the Nature's Grass rip. Inspired trying to get there, but he's just going to be CC'd up by the Ornn. The bullet time comes down. Inspired has to flash back. There's the Paranoia into the back line, but YoungJae has to flash out. He's going to get Twisted Advance on by Inspired, but Inspired falls. Isles is low. RedBert's going back in, and Envy is looking for the AD carry, and absolutely deletes him. Berserker is cut in half by Envy, and the chances of LYON slip away in game 4.
They're just going to go straight to Baron. Envy was slow to get into that fight, but as soon as he arrives, he just cuts down the enemy AD carry. Dhokla and Saint looking to push up mid. I'm not even sure if they're going to be able to get the tower here.
I don't know. I mean, Xyno, I think, is going to be able to just tank anything they can do, clear out the wave. Dhokla and Saint trying to make something happen, but this game looking damn near impossible for them. At this point, they just can't find value from their carries. This Akali just is one-shotting everyone, has the upgraded Shadow Flame. Let's see how this happens one more time.
So Envy ends up actually getting rooted here at the start, so is a little slow to end up getting the fight, gets ulted as well off the root, but just ends up moving in from the other side, and it's now hard to track where they don't have vision. Waits for the steadfast presence, flashes in, and Berserker gone immediately. And the rest of the team was still doing damage. Bull got a lot of value off the bullet time in the mix in that fight. And it just felt like, you know, as soon as Envy arrived, the fight was over. Loud getting exactly... Oh, no.
Berserker in trouble. He does have the flash. Will have to use it. That mobility with the Proto Belt, with the Shuriken flip, with the perfect execution. Akali is flying from one side of the map to the other. And Loud are feeling very close to sending us to a game 5 here. Bull having a lot of value in that last team fight. This time, Saint did get a ton of damage out, but it's mostly on Ornn, it's on Leona. It's just not on targets where you're really changing the game. Bull is completely unpressured. and Envy can one-shot Berserker at a moment's notice.
Yeah, the damage is just insane at this point. And the fact is, he could just buy a Jayce with the 10 stacks already and just capitalize on that spike if he wanted to. Just such a strong core of pen items available in the inventory just to decimate anyone without magic resist. And at this point, no one really has magic resist on the enemy team. Equalizer comes through.
They're going to drop the Equalizer, and here comes the Nature's Grasp. They're going to go forward, but YoungJae has the Paranoia. The curtains are called. The Coral Forge God is going to be thrown down as a response. Knocks up Dhokla on the side. They get a kill onto Saint. Akali Nocturne. The combo that just keeps on destroying LYON time and time again.
They had to make a play. They had to go for it because they knew, I mean, Saint was long for this world in the mid lane. They don't find anything though, and LYON pushing in, taking inhibitor tower top, inhibitor tower mid. And at this point, looking like they're going to be taking this game. LYON have to find a fight here, or they're going to reset and spend all their gold.
They just don't have those X-Factor champs that make you believe in a comeback, though. There's not really that ability to find a quick pick. We'll see if LYON can make something happen, but without Saint, there's not really a chance of a team fight, and they don't have any snap engage. It's just really the Twisted Advance. It's the Nature's Grasp from Inspired. It's a Flash Stun of the Wall from Isles. These are not tools that are very scary.
I mean, you look at the Red Bull Baron power play, 4,000 gold. They were already in a good position, 7,000 gold up now. I'm concerned about the spends that are going to come through. Oh, the Bandle Pipes! He's there for the good vibes!
He's got the Bandle Pipes, and all 5 ornaments have been upgraded, so the gold lead's even kind of lying to you, because it's really more than that at this point when you're adding all the additional stats from the ornaments. And let's watch Saint get one shot. Here.
Yeah, that's about what I expected from this play. Not much you can do. And the thing is, now they're so far ahead, we're starting to see luxury buys come out, right? The GA comes out from YoungJae, Seeker's Arm Guard comes out from Envy. We even got the red pot picked up by Bull. So these are the things you buy where it gives you insurance. If you do overstep, you have the safety net. And also, when you're buying a red pot, this is very much a signal. Next fight is the last one. It is
absolutely that signal, and we'll see if LYON can do anything to stop that. You got 2 supers stacked up on the top wave. You got a super coming in through mid, and they're gonna have to deal with that. They don't have a great wave clear. Last game, we doubted the Garen, we were wrong. This game, we doubted the Jayce, and I think we might have been right. Saint definitely struggling, even with a great laning phase, even with the 2 early kills, just hasn't really been able to have an effect. This Akali weathered the storm in the early game, and him and YoungJae have just been on a tear through the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of... Oh, Engage comes in.
They're going to be going in, the bullet time, the Paranoia, everything getting spent. Inspired, trying to survive. Nature's Grasp comes out, but it's nothing doing for LYON. The Equalizer, though, across multiple members. There's Envy coming to the back line, so Berserker just has to exit. The team has no damage because Berserker can't even get close. It's 3 kills unanswered for LYON. It's Loud destroying this game. It's Xyno TPing into the base, and it's Loud with their eyes on the Nexus, their eyes on the prize. They want game 5, and they are damn well gonna get it. Bull pushing forward, taking a little bit of damage. It's up to Berserker, it's up to Isles, but they can do nothing. YoungJae flashes in, has the GA. They're looking for another kill just to pad the stats that much more. Berserker can't even get one on the steps of the fountain. We're going to game 5.
And the crowd are absolutely loving it. The hometown heroes taking it to game 5 against LYON. LCS's been struggling this year against CBLOL, and that's not stopping here.
Nope, they have been looking good. CBLOL improving time and time again. My player of the game has got to be Envy. Lounge, who you got?
No arguments here. It's Envy that Akali dominated.